We're here at the office of the Power of Passion and Purpose Group, and I'm Lisa Thomas, Success and Leadership Coach, and I recently wrote an article on the power of closure, and it got some pretty large attention, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about the content of that article today. Now, I have some notes, and I'll read from them just because I don't want to leave anything out. The power of closure is important and critical when you're creating a new. You know, they say out with the old and in with the new. But what happens when you don't say goodbye to the old? I think the end of the year is when most think about something like, closure. Even I'm more conscious of it during the start of the year. I even started one of my articles, the article that I was talking about earlier, by saying, in reflecting on the close of 2010 while embracing the newness of 2011, I asked myself how to bring a complete close to a wonderful year so that I can begin painting on a clean canvas for 2011. It really is a great question for everyone finishing up something old and preparing for something new. Can you imagine trying to paint a new picture on an old, used canvas? Often we do that when we make New Year's resolutions, or we want something new and improved in our lives. Past disappointments and failures are still lingering, yet we try to start new ones as though they will magically manifest. Every 3 years I do a deep kind of introspective, but this year something seemed a little different. We're in this year of 2011, and wow, for me this is the beginning of a new decade. Others began their year last year, or their new decade, I think, last year. But for me, it begins this year. So in my deep retrospect, this time around, I reviewed my 10-year list. And I had accomplished a lot and felt some enormous successes, met some incredible people, and had many exciting times. And I'd also been met with some of life's greatest challenges. I had to let some people go in the process and felt some of the most disappointing and saddest of times. But more importantly, within the last 10 years, guess what? I found my purpose and my voice. So I felt this intense desire to include what I've called this P3 cleanse in my process of closure. And I think you're going to find this pretty interesting for yourself. When most hear the word cleanse, they immediately think about detox. Now, to some degree, I am talking about, a detox. However, cleansing for me is all about the mind, body, and spirit, that type of cleansing. It's indeed a spiritual, emotional, and physical cleanse. I start with all things informing my intellect, information that's going to distract me from my ultimate cause and vision. So I cleanse my body of those things which kind of conflict with the pureness of healthy living. And I mentally cleanse all my self-imposing thoughts that plague my ability, particularly those things that are going to plague my ability to achieve the greatest things that I deserve. So I engaged in this triple cleanse, if you will. And I've done this in the past, but I thought this time around I was ready to take it to the next level. So I usually give myself about 3 months. Three months. Not one, not two, but 3 months to bring closure to all that has happened, whether it's good or bad. So I believe that to fully open up to the process of closure, real closure, there's preparation. And a good P3 cleanse system provides that opening. So there's 3 critical steps to this P3 cleansing system. And those steps are: 1, cleanse your spirit and your mind. I'm going to repeat that. So cleanse your spirit and your mind. Stop watching TV and engaging in other information technology that's going to distract you from your spirit and your overall purpose. You'll probably have to encourage your family to support your efforts by including them in the process and asking them to respect, or ask them to respect, because sometimes they may not want to participate, but you can ask them to respect your process and give you the support that you need. So step number 2 is to cleanse your emotions. Cleanse your emotions. Remove all self-imposing thoughts and comments from others who plague your ability to think clearly. Now, everybody has people in their lives that's going to feed them stuff that they don't really like, or is going to distract them from their cause. So you're going to actually have them stop doing that. And if you can't have them stop doing that, guess what? Then this means you're gonna stop all negative, limited thinking, and then to succeed, you're gonna journal your thoughts and issue a cancellation notice to your mind. So if someone actually gives you a thought or says something to you that has your thoughts go into this swirl, you can immediately issue a cancellation notice. So you can imagine the cancellation notice is an imperative part of the system. Remember that. Cancel. Cancellation notice to your mind. Okay. Step 3. Cleanse your body. Eliminate all foods that do not foster energy, good health, and vibrant living. First, research and exercise a good detox program so you begin your food eliminations with ease. After the detox, usually 7 to 10 days is a good time for a detox. Simply notice your energy levels and keep a journal of all foods consumed. Eliminate those foods that seem to slow you down and zap your energy. So this is a process that's going to take some time. You're going to determine which foods works for you, which ones do not. So those are the 3 steps. Cleanse your spirit and your mind. Cleanse your emotions. Cleanse your body. 3 steps. Okay. So I suggest you do this again 3 months. However, you can implement any part of this cleanse at any time. Cleansing the mind, body, and spirit opens you up to newfound energy, problem solving, thought process, and effective decision making. All occurrences have emotions attached to them, whether we choose to process them at the time they happen or push them back to process later. So to go forward effectively and embrace the future, we have to completely process them all. Because you're now in this space of answering the following 3 sets of very pointed questions, and I'm going to give you those questions in a moment, you can fully and completely navigate through the closure process. So here are the 3 sets of questions. I like 3. Don't you guys like 3? I like 3. So the first sets of questions are, what do I really want? And you really want to answer that question. What do you really want? And where am I unbalanced? Where am I unbalanced? Very deep question for you to answer. It seems simple, but you really want to think about it. What are my happiest moments in life? Where is my heart pulling me? In what direction do I know within my soul I am being led or pulled? Where am I agitated in life? Where am I fulfilled? Where am I unfulfilled? Now again, these are it seems very simple, very simple questions, but at the same time you want to make sure you spend some time with the questions and answer them. And in future videos, we'll go a little deeper into some of these questions. Following those questions are 3 big questions. Why am I unfulfilled? Why am I really agitated? What elements make up the happiest moments in my life? So again, you want to answer those questions truthfully and authentically. And lastly, 4 important and paramount questions come to mind. What responsibility do I play in all of this? What, if anything, am I willing or going to do about any of it? And how can I make my life line up with what I want it to be? And then last, how do I put myself in the driver's seat of my own life? Now, there's a lot of meat in these questions, so I'm not going to go into a lot of depth about them, but for now, just listen to the question and to the best of your ability, answer those questions authentically and truthfully. Most of us make New Year's resolutions or tough decisions without first bringing closure to past hurts, disappointments, failures, and even successes and triumphs. Often we decide we want a different result without first identifying old habits and cycles that continue to lead to our demise. When we fail to produce, we can easily become cynical and resign to simply settling for whatever we get. And I'm sure all of you are familiar with settling, right? You kind of get cynical, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, whatever. I'll just take whatever I can get at this point. So you really don't have to do that. I think it's critical to honor and acknowledge these questions as you're looking at really having what you want. You want to look at, what have I accomplished? So what have you accomplished, and what have you not accomplished? So you want both sides, not just one side, but both sides. What is my honest assessment of my accomplishment, pros and cons? And how do I make improvements and adjustments for the future? So again, very critical questions that you want to answer. As you answer these questions, please be cautioned that guilt may arise. You know, when you start looking at, well, okay, I didn't accomplish that, and then you feel guilty because you didn't accomplish it. Don't do that. Don't do it. Make sure you are in a place to embrace the answers and to become fully empowered by them. Feelings of guilt or chastisement does not bring closure, but rather deepening incompletion. And it's also critical to acknowledge in authentic truth what you will change and what you are not willing to change. So you want to make sure you acknowledge in truth what you are willing to change and what you are not willing to change, and what you can commit to and what you cannot. Really owning the whole enchilada. Okay? Keep the process going until you feel whole inside and a sense of completion. When you feel a sense of this completion, you know that you are settled and at peace in your state of mind and being. So if you feel a sense of peace and you're settled, then completion has occurred. This closure process cleanses all of the impurities of your life. It brings about the truest, most authentic you and creates a clean slate to work with. When you finally make a decision to have something new and improved in your life, you actually do it with integrity and power attached to it. And that's different than adding a pile of words to something. So it starts to wipe away all of the old pain and gives rise to a new canvas ready for a new creation. Now, I'm really excited about what the days ahead will hold for you. Now that you have done this closure process or been through this closure process, I vow to make a closure process a part of my entire life, everyday living. The daily question for me is, what masterpiece will I create today? So let's create the absolute best life ever. Can we do that together? Great. Now, after you've heard this video, seen this video, taken yourself through the process, and you still have questions, and you want a one-on-one session with me or one of the coaches, please give us a call at 704-909-7663, or visit the website, www.thep3group.com. Again, it's www.thep3group.com. Make it a fantastic day.